Hello, y'all. Welcome back again for a very requested video. Oh my gosh, I wasn't planning on getting to specific species care quite yet, but when I posted a recent reel, a recent Instagram post, I got so many questions, y'all. I was like, you might as well address this. You might as well make a YouTube video. So what are we here for today? You've already seen the title of the video. It is Queen Anthurium care, specifically in ambient. You can get this care in a larger tent, but you just know queens are going to get long, they're going to get big. Eventually, they're not going to need to be in a bigger environment. So today we are going over queen care. First things first, if you're thinking about getting a beautiful queen anthurium, don't make it your first. Heed that warning. Please do not make the queen anthurium your very first anthurium in the collection. They are called a queen for a reason. They are royalty, and they will accept nothing less than royal treatment. We're gonna get into what exactly that means, what all that entails, but I have a feeling if you get these tips in check, get these ideas in check, get this care in check, you can actually probably within your third or fourth anthurium have success growing this beautiful queen. So heed that warning. Please do not make it your very first anthurium. We should know, or if you don't know, you should know that queens are the queens of consistency. They are the anthurium that thrive the most on consistency. They will plain just grow for you properly as long as you're consistent. The moment you become inconsistent is the moment the queen starts throwing a fit. They are the divas. Like I said, they are royalty for a reason. So those are the biggest things. Like, don't start with them, and you got to be very consistent. So let's get into it, y'all. Let's break it down. I figured the best place to start would be medias. What are the growth medias or the grow medias that I've seen people and what I currently use? So, all right, so the first media that I see a lot of people using is a pond or a mineral media. So pond is really you could say it's the Q-tip. It's the Q-tip coverall term, but the actual media is a mineral media. It's just a bunch of different kinds of rocks built up to make a mixed media for your plant. So that is a great media because you get a very consistent access to moisture in that environment when used with a self-watering pot. So that's kind of another layer that we're going to cover as well. But pond or a mineral media is what you typically see queens doing pretty well in. You see them doing quite well in, actually. Another media you're going to see people use in the community is sphagnum moss mixed in with perlite and orchid bark. So it's a mixture that's going to help retain that moisture, stay moisture, keep that consistency that we are looking for. One of the people that I look to in the community is a Sphinx in the Jungle. She grows a monster queen and is capable of growing some big queens in her indoor greenhouse, all in mostly sphagnum, orchid bark, and perlite. How crazy is that? Like I said, go check out her page. You will see how gorgeous that mama is, along with the rest of her collection. Absolutely stunning. So that is something to learn from. There are many awesome people in the community that grow just in sphagnum moss and find a lot of success. Nothing wrong with it. Another media that we see is just straight potting soil, amended with perlite, of course, but potting soil, mostly used in a greenhouse environment, something that's going to be very much higher humidity, higher heat overall, something like a Florida greenhouse. So you see a lot of the greenhouse growers will just grow in a fox farm, in a high porosity soil, something like that, to make sure that they have constant access to that moisture. When they have a mister system, it's on a cycle, it's constant, it is no signs of drying out. So it's a very ideal environment, as we know, for many of our tropical plants. Now we get to what I use. What am I using? I'm using a homemade self-watering pot with tree fern and perlite. That is my ratios that I'm using to get this cutie here. My homemade scenario is not the most ideal. I am gonna upgrade her very soon into a larger self-watering pot, but this is simply just a to-go cup self-watering scenario, a soup cup self-watering scenario. As you can see, she's producing beautiful roots, very happy in her clear And this cutie is living up in my strapped up corner. I'll go ahead and play you a video of that as well so you can see exactly what that beautiful strapped up corner looks like. It is something I'm so absolutely proud of. It has been a fun project to put together. So again, what do I use? We're using tree fern and I'm using perlite. It is a 3-to-1 ratio, and that's gonna go for it. That is a 3-to-1 ratio. Again, that's gonna make for a very consistently moist environment, but still creating the small pockets of air that those roots need to prosper. Additional note that I wanna add is once those mamas get mature, you're gonna find that these leaves get pretty heavy. Very heavy, in fact. So you're gonna want something for her to latch onto back here, because in their natural environment, queens are pretty epiphytic. They do like to climb up trees and like to let these leaves get really, really big. So eventually you're gonna wanna put her on a pole. You're gonna get even more access to root area, more access to consistent moisture. That is the way to go. Now, additionally, I was running a secondary test in a completely closed off vase, and she did pretty well. There are some occasions where I missed my watering cycle, but as you can see, she's pretty dark, pretty well thriving. And the biggest thing with my babies is I've got these living in 30 to 50% ambient humidity. It changes throughout the year, but it's generally 30 to 50 because these guys are living out in my living room. So that was an experiment I was running. Not something I would suggest a closed off environment because it makes for a very anaerobic environment. So it makes for a lot of algae growth. So we don't necessarily want that. So that's why I shoot towards the self-watering pot. So that way we're not getting that anaerobic environment. We're able to clean the bottom fairly easily, change out the water, not have to worry about any buildup like that. Now we get to what is gonna be the best queen to start with. And naturally, you're gonna have two choices. You're gonna from seed, from a small, tiny little seedling, or you go a mature individual. And that is kind of where this experiment went as well. This big mama that's growing in the closed pot, she was a big mature mama, huge, grown in a greenhouse, absolutely massive individual. She was gorgeous. Why I say was because when I got her home, changed the media, and got her ready for her big journey into the indoor environment, well, she completely defoliated. I was prepared for this though. I was mentally prepared. I was ready for her to do it. What I did is I put her into rehab mode, put her into this container, didn't even put her into high humidity. I wanted her to rehab in a lower humidity environment. And that's exactly what she did. Continues to rock and roll. As I said, I'm gonna get her into a different self-watering. This was just a long-term experiment where, as you can see, the regular self-watering pot creates a much more consistently growing mama. So with this one, I grew this from seed, tiny little seed from Russo Plant Care. Got a bunch of beautiful babies, but this one was grown from a tiny little seed. And as soon as she hit about 6 to 7 leaves, she was thrown out into ambient environment. As I said on my ambient care video, that is how I rock, that is how I roll, that is how I get my babies off and running. And additionally too, she wasn't ever really given the high humidity. She was always at about that 70 to 60% humidity within the prop boxes and in my tent, as you know from my prior videos. So she wasn't ever really spoiled as a seedling. So I think that really made a much easier grower. Either way you go, you're gonna end up with a big queen. Just know that the first option when you get a mature individual is gonna be much more dramatic. You may find a lot more joy growing from seed without all the dramatics of a mature just collapsing and defoliating on you. So, all that to be said, that is how I care for these beautiful queens. I hope that helps y'all. I mean, in conclusion, we learned today that queens are the queens of consistency. They're the royalty of consistency. And if you're not on it, if you're not consistent, they're gonna start being divas. And that's the last thing we want. That's the last thing we want. Also, the last thing we want is to make the queen anthurium your very first anthurium. We do not want your foyer into anthuriums being that diva, because you will find very quickly or think very quickly that, oh, I'm just not cut out for anthuriums. When you are, you absolutely are. There are a bunch of other awesome species that won't fight you, that won't yell at you, that won't just give up. Plenty more. So don't give up on anthuriums. If you've already crossed that bridge, don't give up on them. Maybe give them another chance. Maybe you've already given up and you're thinking about giving anthuriums another chance. Give them another chance, y'all. Give them another chance. I promise you, with these steps put in order, you will find success. So remember, 2 ways to start: from seed, from mature. Those are the 2 things that we're looking at. Self-watering is your best friend, especially for busy individuals like us. Want to make sure that that mama has access to moisture as much as possible. How do we achieve that? We achieve that with a self-watering pot, whether it be a homemade one or a bought from the store one, what have you. Just make sure you're gonna have enough room potentially in the future to get that moss pole rolling. Thank y'all so much. I really appreciate y'all hanging out. I really appreciate all the support lately, all the people coming into Palm Street saying, hey, I've been watching your videos. They're very helpful. I cannot tell you how excited that makes me to know that people are getting this information that is helping them grow their anthuriums and they're finding success. Because as I said many times, you don't necessarily need to have purchased that anthurium from me to get the help from me. I encourage anybody, if you're having issues with your anthurium, reach out. I want to see you on track. I want to see you finding success with your anthuriums, because that is what I do it for. I don't do it for the money. I do it to make some space because I enjoy making those babies. I enjoy making the babies, and I enjoy seeing people happy. I enjoy helping people, getting people on track. When people say, hey man, I was about to give up on anthuriums, you set me in the right direction, and now my collection is thriving. That is what I love to hear. That is what I freaking love to hear. So y'all, thank y'all so much. The support has been amazing lately over on Palm Street. It's been amazing. If you don't know, I sell my beautiful babies on Palm Street using all these beautiful mothers behind me, among a bunch of other beautiful mothers. I do tours on Thursday where I go through my whole collection. We go through, look at the stunners, look at the inflow, see who's about to give us some beautiful babies, think about potential future crosses. Sunday, we go super hard with new releases every single Sunday from myself or other awesome people in the community that I absolutely adore. So please, please, please join me. If you like wiggling, if you like moving about, if you like a passion for this beautiful species that we know and love, and if you want to purchase one, that's a place for you. So join me over at Palm Street. Same name as here, Anthurium Papa. Same name on Instagram, Anthurium Papa. Same name on the World Wide Web, anthuriumpapa.com. Little addition there. But thank y'all so much. Like, comment, subscribe. These little things help me so much, help me move up, help me be seen in the big, big world of YouTube and the plant community. So thank y'all so much. Again, come join me on Palm Street where we're having a ton of fun. Love y'all so much. Thank y'all for spending some time with me. Thank y'all for checking out my queens. Until then, we shall see you next time. Oh, big things coming. Big Plant Expo is gonna be the next show. I hope you guys are excited. Bye, guys.